Okay, good morning, Mr. Galito and Tabamo. Yes, dito ra sa GC kaya ako sa basahon later while nag-online ta, okay? Dito ra sa GC ang inyong answer kaya akong basahon part sa atong online class later or karon na. Okay, so these are the following questions that you will answer during our online class. So number one, explain what critical thinking is. And then number two, why is logic considered as an art? And then number three, why is logic considered as a science? And lastly, number four, are you a critical thinker? If so, explain in 50 words why you think that you are a critical thinker. Okay, so let us start by reading your answers sa atong group chat. First, here we have Miss Montalba. Wait sa. Please wait for a moment. Is IT to be? Okay, so we have answer from Miss Montalva. So, yung answer sa question number one, what is critical thinking? So her answer is an active process of discovery in which you can fully understand the situation by analyzing, evaluating, observation, reflection, and reasoning power. In that way, you can seek solution and gain new ideas. So that is her answer for question number one. And for question number two, according to Miss Georgina Montalva, logic considered as an art because logic is an art that seeks to apply principles of reasoning to analyze and create arguments and proof. And then her third answer, why logic is considered as a science. It is because scientists use logic because it shows the relationship between the parts of an idea and the whole idea. Logic is that through process that is used to figure out facts and truths. And then lastly, uh, answer to question number four, are you a critical thinker? So the answer of Miss Montalba is, I can say so, that I am a critical thinker because if I am engaging problems in life, I used to think deeply by analyzing and evaluating its main roots. After, seek wise decision and finalize it by thinking the possibility of my own action. Okay, so thank you, Miss Montalba, for your answers for questions number 1 to question number 4. So this is week number 6. Talba. Okay. So who else who has the answer or have answered the 4 questions? Okay, so good morning to Mr. Sarigumba and Mr. Vicente. So we have answer from Mr. Vicente sa question number 1. Critical thinking is that mode of thinking about any subject, content, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully analyzing and assessing. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Vicente, for your participation. Where are the answers of the others? And then there are only 6 who have joined our class. Okay, good morning, Mr. Benson. We have questions, Mr. Benson. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Please post your answer in our live chat or in our group chat. Okay? So thank you again for the answer of Miss Montalba and Mr. Vicente. Mhm. So, kinsa pa ang na-answer? And to Mr. Vicente, ang question number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, naana, yung question, answer sa question number 2 from Mr. Vicente. Science seeks to discover rules of reasoning. Logic as an art seeks to apply those rules to rational discourse or argument or discussions. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Vicente, for answering question number 2. So, I hope nga nakita to ninyong video na dito ang answer sa number 1, 2, and 3, while answer number 4 will be on your own. Okay? Then we have here from Miss Reynalyn Lubido. Critical refers to careful judgment or judicious evaluation, while thinking is a mental activity to procedure thoughts produce. Okay, so that is her answer for question number 1, Lubido. And answer to question number 3 from Mr. Vicente. Scientists use logic because it shows the relationships between the parts of an idea and the whole idea. The scientific method is a rational, logical thought process that is used to figure out facts. Okay, so for example, sa anang as logic, so moingon kag from number 1, so dili ka pwede mo jump into number 9. So you have to follow the sequence. So from number 1, automatically number 2 ang sunod, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is the logical process if mag-numbering. Okay, so para sa gi-answer ni Mr. Vicente sa question number 3. And then napay sumpay to figure out facts and truths. All of the answers um, All of the answers must be able to be proved. Okay, so thank you for answering question number 3, Mr. Vicente. And then, okay, good morning to Carlito Madural. Okay, so Mr. Bungkayaw, pwede ra dito sa atong group chat i-answer. Open po na atong group chat. Mo gigamit po ni Miss Montalba kaganina. So dito po nagbasa sa yang answer. Okay, so we have here answer from Miss Istrobo. Critical thinking refers to the challenge of making individuals a critic of their own thoughts. And then logic considered as an art because it seeks to apply those discovered rules to rational discourse. So thank you, Miss Istrobo, for answering number 1 and number 2. So may participation, ani? And then we have here from Miss Makarayan. Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas. Okay, so thank you. Let me just check your participation. So question number 1 is already done. So here we have answer from Miss Libido. Number 2, logic considered as an art because logic seeks to apply those discovered rules and to rational discourse. Okay, thank you, Miss Libido, sa imuhang answer sa number 2. So, recorded na ang 1 and 2. Ang nakahuman ng answer sa upat is si Miss Montalba pa. And then we have here Mr. Sarigumba. Explain, okay? Critical thinking refers to the challenge of making individual as a critic of their own thoughts. Okay, so that is the answer of Mr. Sarigumba. The question number 1. Okay, recorded. Ang question number 1, Mr. Benson. It is not logic. Okay, para nako lang sir ha, it is not. Logic is part of philosophy. And philosophy isn't science. Okay, so if you have watched the video, Mr. Benson, you can see there the connection between philosophy and science, which I have posted in your group chat. So I am suggesting that you watch the video first before uh, giving your answers. Okay, na dito anong philosophy is considered as a science. Okay, so please watch the video that I have posted. And then who else? Okay, so Miss Makarayan, yeah, answer sa number 2. Logic as an art seeks to apply those rules to rational discourse. Okay, so we have here from Miss Makarayan. I am waiting for your answers in question number 4 because diha na to makita ang inyong ability to think sa inyong pag-answer kaysa 1, 2, and 3, magbalik-balik ra na inyong answer. So, there I have posted the link sa inyong group chat, Mr. Benson. So, here we have, okay, so Mr. Bungkayaw, nag-answer na siya sa atohang group chat. Okay, we have first the answer from Mr. Galito. Okay, critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form judgment. The subject is complex and several different definitions exist, which generally include the rational, skeptical, unbiased analysis or evaluation of factual evidence. And then for question number two, logic considered as an art because, unlike mathematics and the empirical sciences, it's about representing something subjective. Representing these logics, either symbolically or graphically, is the same as representing any other idea. However, as in other arts, such as sculpture or comics, there are groups, traditions, and styles. And for answers on number three, scientists use logic because it shows the relationship between the parts of an idea and the whole idea. The scientific method is rational, logical thought process that is used to figure out facts and truths. And then lastly, ang ihang answer sa question number four. Everyone thinks it is our nature to do so, but much of our thinking, left to itself, is biased, distorted, partial, uninformed, or downright prejudiced. Yet, the quality of our life and that of what we produce, make, or build depends precisely on the quality of our thought. Uh, what do you mean by shouldy thinking? Should thinking is costly both in money and in quality of life. Excellence in thought, however, must be systematically cultivated. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Galito, sa imuhang answers. So you have answered four questions. Then we have from Jobert Bongkayaw. The word critical refers to careful judgment or judicious evaluation, and thinking, on the other hand, refers to mental activity to produce thoughts in philosophy. Critical thinking refers to logic, the science and art of correct thinking or of reasoning well. And then number two, logic is considered as an art, and the reason for this is that logic seeks to apply those discovered rules to rational discourse. And then number three, logic is considered as a science because it seeks to discover rules of reasoning. Then lastly, for number four, I think so because there were some points that I asked why a lot, like question everything and verifying the authenticity of informations. I carefully judge my own mental activity that I am willing to change my mind whenever I'm wrong on something, and I don't like people who insult other people by just for fun without even knowing the story of a person. I am fascinated by how things work, like appreciating how things are done. Okay, so we have here Pakapin ni Mr. Mukaya, and this I think were some points for critical thinkers' behavior which I possess and makes me think I'm a critical thinker. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Bungkayaw. That is very good, actually. So you have now answer four of the questions. So let's go back to our YouTube. Yes, I have read your answer, Mr. Bungkaya, and then from Miss Makarayan, her answer. So question number three, logic as a science seeks to discover rules of reasoning. Maglisod na tag-pronounce. Same Rotabert. Yes. Same ra ang answer sa question number 3. Depende na sa inyong pag-explain. Okay? So, Miss Makaraya, naka-answer na sa number 3. Okay, recorded. And then from Mr. Kapagnan. The word critical refers to careful judgment of judicious evaluation and thinking is mental activity to produce thoughts. Okay, so very good. So I'll be recording answer of Mr. Kapagan sa question number 1. And then, so number 2, as an art, logic seeks to apply those discovered rules to rational discourse and as an art. Okay, balik-balik na ang answer ni Mr. Kapagan. So na siya answer sa number 2. Okay, who else? Sinakoy nalimtan. Recorded ba ang inyong participation? So, naka-complete pa answer from 1 to 4 is Mr. Galito, Miss Montalba, Mr. Bungkayaw. Okay, mo pa na. Si John Rex Vicente, wala pa yung answer sa number 4. Kulang na lang yung number 4. Then, we have here from Mr. Kaplan. Answer sa number 3, as a science, logic seeks to discover rules of reasoning. Okay, thank you. Sana lang kulang ni Mr. Kapagnan. Mahuman niyang 4 ka questions. May basin na lang nag-comment sa ato ang group chat. Okay, we have here from Mr. Akim Tabamo. A critical thinking is an act of synthesizing to understand a problem or situation. The number 2, through logical thinking, we can create ideas and accomplish different things. That's an art of critical thinking. And then number 3, logic is considered as a science because science was made through human logical exploration. Okay, thank you, Mr. Akim. And then lastly, for number 4, our mind was made perfect and powerful. It has the ability to go further than we think. It is unique and unbelievable if we use it in good way. I am not really that intelligent like philosophers and scientists does, but I can also think logically in some situations that I encounter and that will consider as a critical thinker. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Akim. That is also a very good answer. Labi na sa number 4. Okay, so taba mo, Akim. Complete na. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who else? Na nag-answer sa group chat. Okay, wala pa. So, while waiting, so nanatay answer from Mr. Madural. Critical thinking is the intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. Logic can be considered an art because, unlike mathematics and the empirical sciences, it's about representing something subjective. Typically, when people say something is logical, they mean it makes sense to them or that there's a pattern or reasoning they can follow. And then scientists use logic because it shows the relationships between the parts of an idea and the whole idea. The scientific method is a rational, logical thought process and that is used to figure out facts and truths. All of the answers must be able to be proved as well as to be explained. And then lastly, so number four, I think so, maybe because I am willing to change my mind when if I discover that I am wrong and I know that it is impossible to be right about everything all the time. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Carlito Madural, for your answer. So, kompleto na ang apat. Okay, so far, gamay pa ang nakakompleto sa 4 ka questions. Kinsa pa diri? Okay, last na ito nabasa is si Mr. Kapagnan. Sa iyahang answer sa question number 3. Okay, we have here from Mr. Sarigumba. Naka-answer na ka Mr. Sarigumba sa number 2 and number 3. Okay, nanay ay. Okay, Sarigumba, nanay number 3, nanay number 2. Okay. Ito sa a record. Then, I think I am because I have a mind to think better. What is good or bad in every actions? I have a mind to think what will be the consequence of my actions. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Sarigumba, for completing questions number 1 to number 4. So, recorded na siya. So, who else? Ang wala pa naka-complete sa ilang answer na nagpa-participate. We have Mr. Kapagnan. Ang question number 4 na lang wala. And then, Strubo, number 3 and number 4. Wala pa. Lubido, number 3 and number 4. Miss Makarayan, number 4 na lang kulang. And then, Vicente, John Rex, number 4 na lang kulang. Okay? Sumoto siya. And then, how about the others? Then, we have only 6 participants. So, gamay ra ang participation for this online class. Okay? Okay, so others are still typing sa ilang answer. So, ato silang hulatan for their participation sa ato ang class karon. So, wala pa nga send. Kamulo pa type. Okay, so we have answer here from Miss Istrubo. Number 3 na lang kulang. So, ato asang basahon imong answer sa number 4. I think I am a critical thinker because I think things carefully before doing it. I know how to handle things and I know how to deal with my problems. I am not that really logically person in all situations, but I will definitely change my decisions, whether it is good or bad, into a better one. Okay, so thank you, Miss Strubo, for answering number 4. So kulang na lang nimo is ang number 3. Okay, so we have answer from Miss Lubido. Sa question number 4, yes, because there are some point that I actually judge my mental activity to provide better understanding in my ideas or thoughts. Okay, so thank you, Miss Lubido. Ang kulang na lang is sa question number 3. Naka-answer na ba ka sa question number 3, Miss Lubido? Let me check. Back read. Okay, I think wala pa. Then okay, so Miss Strubo, naka-answer na dahil siya sa number 3. So, kompleto na si Miss Strubo. Okay, so paki-check lang ko basing wala para ko nabasa inyo ang answers from 1 to 4 para ma-record na to. Okay, so again, kapag nga number 4 na lang kulang, and Miss Lubido sa number 3, wala ko nakakita. Nanadi ay. Okay, so nakita na nako. So complete na si Miss Lubido. Then Makarayan, kulang na lang number 4. Then so we have here continuation sa answer ni Miss Lubido. And you know how to handle every decision you make. Okay? Then, Miss Strubo. Yes, sumana ka sa 3 and 4. Ako na nang na-record. So, ang wala pala naka-complete is si Mr. Kapagnan. Sa mga nag-participate karon, kulangan siya sa number 4. Miss Makarayan sa number 4. Then, Vicente Genrix sa number 4. Okay? There are now 8 participants in our online class. And then, we have answers from wala man sa atong group chat. Last nga nakabutang sa group chat is si Miss Strubo. So others are still writing their answers. So let us wait. Again, ang wala pa nakahuman, we have Mr. Kapagnan, number 4 ang kulang, as well as Miss Makarayan and Vicente Janrex. So, putang wala naka-complete sa mga naka-participate karon. And then, ang mga nakahumana, sa pag-answer sa questions number 1 to 4, we have Mr. Bungkayaw, Miss Istrubo, Mr. Galito, Miss Lubido, Mr. Madural, Miss Montalba, Mr. Sarigumba, and Mr. Tabamo. The rest, wala pa naka-answer or wala nag-appeal sa atuhang online class. So while waiting sa inyong answer, ato sa nang ipang record. Nasa group chat. Okay, we still have about 15 minutes before mag 12 noon. So makaapas pa mo sa inyong answers. Okay, so I'll be waiting for your answers, Mr. Vicente. Kamulo pa siya o write down sa iyahang answer sa question number 4. Okay, well, let me check. Okay, we have answer from Kalamba. So critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment. The subject is complex and several different definitions exist, which generally include the rational, skeptical, and biased analysis or evaluation of factual evidence. Then logic can be considered as an art because, unlike mathematics and the empirical sciences, it's about representing something subjective. Typically, when people say something is logical, they mean it makes sense to them or that there's a pattern or reasoning they can follow. Okay, so 1 and 2, Mr. Kalamba is already recorded. Then from Mr. Benson, critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. Logic considered to be an art because it concerns the arrangement of ideas. Then logic takes the form of empirical science as it requires what do you mean by succinct assertions that can be confirmed by innumerable outsiders, and each element of conjecture is tested for repeatability. Okay, so muna siya mag-experiment. And then lastly, number 4, I think so because we are focused on constantly upgrading our knowledge and we engage in independent self-learning. Okay, so finish na si Mr. Benson. Who else? Okay, from Miss Casing, the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. It includes the ability to engage in reflective and independent thinking. Because as an art, logic seeks to apply these discovered rules to rational discourse. As a science, logic seeks to discover rule of reasoning. And then for number 4, yes, because we use logic as a tool to provide better understanding of the close connection between acting and thinking. And I can have a rational conversation with other people that have an opposite side opinion of my opinion. I welcome their and being grateful for the opportunity to learn more. And I am willing to change my mind if I discover that I have a mistake or that if I am wrong, and I am really open or willing to have an opportunity to sharpen my thinking ability. Okay, so discussing is already done with the 4 questions. Thank you. And then from Mr. Kalamba, answer number three, scientists use logic because it shows the relationships between the parts of an idea and the whole idea. The scientific method is a rational, logical thought process that is used to figure out facts and truths. Okay, so let me record your answers. So number three. Okay, so there are still people who are writing, so we will be waiting sa ilahang answer. And then, yes, Mr. Benson, ako ang na-record ang imuhang answer sa questions number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Okay, so we have answer from Mr. Vicente sa question number 4. No, as for myself, being a critical thinker is complicated. It drives you to a complicated thing since my brain won't work such complex working. I haven't pressured myself on things that make me stress, especially on doing complicated things. Instead, I'm going to a simple and easy solution. Being critical thinking is part of everyone, but it suits to people who has complex in terms of thinking. I admit I am not that kind of person who think too much because it can cause anxiety and stress. Okay, but you are answering question number 4 now, Mr. Vicente, so that proves that you are also a critical thinker. Okay, the way you answer the question number 4 makes you a critical thinker. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Vicente, for answering. So, kumpleto na si Mr. Vicente. Ang uban na lang, then we have still Miss Makarayan. Kulangan po siya sa number 4 and Mr. Kapagngan and Mr. Kalamba. Hopefully, naka-answer na sila dito sa atong kuan. Okay, so we have answered the I and Mr. Kapagngan sa number 4. I think I am a critical thinker because I know how to analyze things carefully and I can deal my problems in my own way. I can be able to differentiate things from good to bad, and that way I can consider myself as a critical thinker. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Kapagngan. Ito asang i-record. Okay, so complete na. Okay, you are very welcome, Mr. Vicente. Okay, as I have said earlier, Mr. Vicente, you are a critical thinker by the way you answer question number 4. Then from, okay, wala pa. Napa-answer sa group chat pero naanay kamulo nagsulat. Okay, from Mr. Kalamba sa iyang answer sa number 4. I think I am a critical thinker because I will think clearly before I will apply the act or ideas. When you can deduce information to find the most important parts and apply those to your life. Okay, so complete na si Mr. Kalamba. Very good. Thank you for participating, Mr. Kalamba. So, kinsa pa diri ang kulang? Okay, si Miss Makarayan. Wala pa iyang answer sa number 4. Okay, no one is writing sa atong group chat. So, kinsa pa ning uban? Again, ang nakakompleto lang ha, akong basahon na ilahang name. Naka-complete answer sa questions number 1 to 4. We have Mr. Benson, Mr. Bungkayaw, Mr. Kalamba, Mr. Kapagan, Miss Kasing, Miss Istrugo, Mr. Galito, Miss Lubido, Mr. Madural, Miss Montalba, Mr. Sarigumba, Mr. Tabamo, and Mr. Vicente. Ang kulang na lang is si Miss Makarayan sa iyang answer sa number 4. Okay. So, if wala na yung mag-answer, hapit na 12, then okay, kamo na pa nag-write. So, before ko maghatag sa inyong assignment, ato sa nahulatan ni nagsulat. Okay, so I'll be posting your assignment for week number 6. Okay, so explain the relation between ethics and logic. So 50 words only. Deadline will be next week para sa week number 6 nga assignment. Okay? Okay, we still have about 3 minutes before na to i-end ang class. And then para maka-lunch na dayon mo. Okay? Sa katong mga naka-complete na og answer, pwede na mo maka-log out. And then hulatan lang to nako katong nasa group chat. Kamulo pa sulat. Okay? Again, your assignment for week number 6. Explain the relation between ethics and logic. Okay, 50 words only. And then you can log out katong mga naka-complete na og answers sa questions number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, na-mention na ako kanina kinsa itong naka-complete. So, pwede na mo maka-log out. Okay, so thank you for logging in sa katong mga naka-complete na and for participating sa atong online class on November 9, 2020. Okay, so thank you Mr. Sarigumba, Mr. Benson and Mr. Vicente. Okay? God bless sa inyo and keep safe sa COVID-19. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Sarigumba. God bless you too. And always keep safe. With heart na sila. Ho? Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Madural, for logging in and joining our class. I will see you next week for week number 7. Okay, so wala na nag-answer sa ato ang group chat. Okay, so live stream will end at 12 noon. So time check. Okay, we still have 2 minutes. After that, kung wala na yung maka-answer, delete na nako i-record ang inyong mga answers. Okay? So thank you again sa katong mga nag-participate sa ato ang online class. Ang kulang lang sa question number 4 is si Miss Macarayan Eileen Grace. Wala niya na-complete ang questions 1 to 4. Okay, so let me just review basing na nalabihan lang nako. Okay. Okay, so na-review na nako. So wala gay answer sa number 4 si Miss Macarayan. So again, time check, 11:59. 1 minute more to go before ending the live stream sa ato ang YouTube. Okay, Roxanne is typing. Okay, so send na Miss Roxanne para ma-appel pa na to pag-record. Okay, Miss Baha Roxanne. Okay, mag-wait ko sa imong answer, Miss Roxanne. If nahuman sa question number 1, Miss Roxanne, isend sa una. Ikasatag sa pag-send para ato na ma-record una. Nawala man si Miss Roxanne. Nawala man iyang typing. Okay, so I will end the live stream now. Wala na yung nag-participate sa ato ang group chat. Okay, so nanapod si Miss Roxanne. Isend sa imong answer sa question number 1, Miss Roxanne. Okay, so we have answer from Miss Makarayan sa question number 4. Maybe I have this attitude. I expect too much from myself. I forget I'm human just like everyone else. Being human means we are all inherently flawed. We all have those moments when we lose our senses or bad decision. Okay, so complete na si Miss Makarayan. Thank you for answering question number 4, which is the most important part sa ako ang gipa-activity karon. Okay, so thank you. You can now log out, Miss Makarayan. And then, so I will end the live stream and I will see you next meeting. Okay? God bless and keep safe.